what you've said. We are live.
Yes. Alex, as I was saying, it is a it's a big privilege and honor to be meeting you online. But, you know, this pandemic has made us explore other avenues of meeting. And because I have been seeing your work and I have not really gotten the pleasure of meeting you in person, I just want to say that this is a very, very big privilege for me. And I'm so excited about this opportunity to just have a sit down with you and to chat about everything and anything and everything to do with wedding stationery. Because, you know, when we look at wedding stationery and when you look at what you're doing at Handmade Treasures, it's something that, you know, you guys are trendsetters, and it's a privilege to be sitting here and to meet you. As I said before, I'm a new planner. I'm just beginning in my journey of planning. And so when I look in the industry and I look at the people who inspire me, people who I strive to be and even challenge me, I look at you, what you're doing at Bloomingdale, what you're doing at Handmade Treasures. And I just want to say thank you so much for honoring our request to join us today. And I know what you're going to share is going to be quite insightful. So thank you. Thank you so much, Alex, for joining us today.
Thank you, Eunice. We're definitely humbled. And it's a pleasure to meet with you and engage with you as well. And I believe what we're going to talk about will not only just impact us as Bloomingdale and Handmade, but the entire industry at large.
Yeah, true. And I think maybe we should just, you know, loosen up a bit. And,
sure.
Yeah. This is not going to be a very serious, well, we're talking about serious matter, but it should not be serious, you know. So let me just ask you, in one word, how would you describe your day-to-day?
My day-to-day, I'd say interesting. No day is the same. Because really, if you look at our industry, it's a creative industry. So every day plays itself to an adventure, depending on what it is that we have. So typically, our day starts at about 5, you know, morning rituals. So you wake up, you have your
I don't know, I didn't get you quite there. There was a bit of lag, something.
Oh, sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can.
Yeah, so I'm saying a day for me typically starts at about 5. So between 5 and about 7 is morning ritual. So just freshen up, get some time to, you know, just catch up with my spiritual man. So, you know, spend some quality time reading my Bible. Then after that, you know, I do a small quiet time. So I'm perusing maybe something I'm reading. Then followed up by just prepping and looking at what my day holds. So that usually gets me to about 7 o'clock. Getting about 30 minutes of, you know, walking. Usually just leave the estate and walk around and then come back. So by 7:30, now it's freshening up and gearing towards the day. Breakfast, catching up with our son, looking at what he's scheduled to do in his day. And then at about 9, either we'll be working from home or we'll head to the office, depending on what the day looks like. And we'd spend the day wearing different hats. So, you know, because you're not only just you know, running the business in terms of the operations, but you're also looking at business management from a management level. So you're looking at accounts, because what I do typically for Handmade and Bloomingdale is that I run strategy and finance. Yeah. That occupies the better part of my morning. Just looking at whether we're on course with the strategy that we have put in place, what needs to happen, what's unfolding. And then now after that, in terms of late mornings, from about 11 to the afternoon, it's either meetings, or just looking at what operations need to be done. Yeah. Then I come back home typically around 4, 5. I'll be able to be home.
Yeah. So just to come back to your answer of interesting.
Yeah.
What was that thing that stood out for you that made it interesting today?
So today was mainly basically handling strategy.
Yeah.
And we've been looking at Bloomingdale for quite some time. So just delving through the different things that we want to do, especially in these times, how we'd want to, just spice up and do things differently. The level of creativity we want to see. So again, because these are things that you have to curate, just like all our events or our stationery. It's something that you need to curate and something that really embodies what you are as a company, but also tries to embody what you want to represent for your clients. So typically, to the strategy bit, that's what made my day interesting today.
Okay, thank you so much for sharing. I've gotten a sneak peek into your day, I won't be calling you between a certain time because I know you'll be somewhere. I've gotten a sneak peek into your day, but thank you so much for sharing. And I'd just like to say a few words of introduction for our audience because perhaps many of them might not know who you are as Alex Chamia, but you are a husband to one Chemtai Chamia. And for those who may not know Chemtai, I don't think Chemtai requires an introduction, but Chemtai is one of those. I think you will say one word about Chemtai. You will know her best. I know her from outside looking in. But I think you should say one thing about Chemtai Chamia. I think she's very talented. You're a father to an amazing boy and artist, Moses Waita. And I also think you should say about the kind of art Moses does.
Yeah.
You're a director at Handsmith's Treasures, co-founder and director at Bloomingdale Planners Studio, and you're also a medical professional. This came as a surprise to me because really I did not know that you are a medic.
Yeah, I mean, it's usually one of those things that, I keep on the side. But yes, as you've introduced, those are majorly the titles that I hold, or rather the responsibility that I have. As you said, I'm a husband to Chemtai, and I think she's, if I could say, if I could use one word to describe what our life has been or what she's been, to me, I'd say discovery. That's a word.
Discovery?
Yeah. Reason is, I think when we met under the circle of me being, or rather practicing, and she was able to unearth all these things. Yeah, I never really thought were in me. Yeah, and so every day is a discovery. Every day is a journey. Every day I get to know new things about her, new things about me. And as you say, I mean, she's really talented.
How long has it been? Sorry, since you got married?
It's been, or let me say, we're in our 10th year. It's been 9 good years. We had our 9th anniversary in February. Okay. And now we're in our 10th year.
Congratulations.
So, yeah. Yes. Really happy and feeling blessed to have been together for that long.
Yes.
Yeah. So as I was saying, I mean, she's multi-talented. She allows me to dream and to see things bigger than I would have ever seen them. She has the biggest heart I thought I was kind before, but she took me to levels of kindness that I didn't think were possible. So she brings out a lot, and she brings out the good in me. So every day is an opportunity to discover. Yeah.
That is so beautiful. And what art does your son partake in?
So right now he's really general. He's not really settled on any particular form of art. But I think the striking thing is the quality in which he does his art. For his age, he's turning 14 this year, so he's 13 now, and he's really, I mean, he blows my mind at what he can do. Yeah, he has a page on Instagram. It's Art by Waita. I think we've done him a bit of a disservice. We haven't posted a lot of his work, but I mean, he's really awesome. Once he gets that pencil on paper, whatever he decides to do, whether it's a figurine, a sketch, I mean, you'll be surprised at how good he's able to do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think one thing I'm really enjoying about these conversations is that we're getting to meet the brains and the people behind all these wonderful brands, and we're getting just every day we're getting a bit of sneak peek behind, the leaders of these companies, and sort of humanizing them, sort of. And so I think it's a wonderful opportunity to even just be talking about Alex Chamia apart from Bloomingdale and getting to know more about you. My name is Eunice Mwe, and as always, it has been a pleasure, and it is a pleasure and a privilege to honor and to moderate Wedding Wednesdays each and every Wednesday evening. I'm an events experience designer at Ulita Surprise. Ulita Surprise is an events planning company based here in Nairobi. I'm also an alumni of WMBA, where I was trained by the industry's best. And by the industry's best, I mean Samantha's Bridal, to become a competent and a certified event professional. So today we're talking about wedding stationery. And while it is not an easy, it's easy to question the importance of wedding stationery, it's also, we cannot take away the fact that they carry a lot of weight in wedding celebrations. So today here we delve into everything wedding stationery in a bit to understand why we need to pay more attention and how we can make the most out of the wedding stationery. And Alex, I'd like to just start by asking you, even before we go further, I just want to begin this conversation about wedding stationery by asking you to first define what wedding stationery is. What is wedding stationery and what does it encompass? Alex?
Okay, Eunice. I think I've been thinking through this question with the backdrop of the changes that we've been able to see progressively in our industry, especially concerning events, and to give it a fair description, I think you'd want to say event stationery is anything that allows for event branding or allows you to brand your event and to communicate. Yeah? And so in that broad bracket, you have a myriad of things. Yeah. So this comes from all the way from your invites to your table numbers, and everything else in between. Conventionally, we've not looked at some things like the dance floor, branded dance floors, but you see that's event branding. It's something that is communicating the message or the couple's message, or an event, even if it's a corporate event, the message of the event. So there's some communication happening there. Things like even branding your DJ booth. That's still stationary. when you're branding the, what do you call this, the buffet area, when you're branding the drinks section, all this is considered as event stationery.
Yeah. And so then, why is it important? Why is wedding stationery important?
Wedding stationery is important in a number of ways, yeah. And I'd say I look at this because not all stationery is used at the same time or is experienced at the same time, yeah. So you have what you call the invites, yeah, and I want to major on that a little bit when you talk about the importance.
Yeah.
Now, when you look at invites, the key thing that an invite should do, it should be able to call to attention, yeah, its desired recipient. Yeah? So that's your desired invited guests. So when they receive this invite, there should be a level of I don't say seriousness, but there should be a level of acknowledgement that they should have based on the invite they've gotten. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the kind of invite you issue enlists a number of emotions to your desired guest. So they'll either look at it and say, okay, fine, it's just another event that I've been invited to. And given the seriousness of the invite, in terms of how it's been done, the detail, the personalization, the intentionality it comes with, probably it's not such a serious event. These people will not even mind if I don't show up because they were not even. It was not. It's not a serious invite.
Okay, so I think what you're trying to say is it sort of sets the tone.
Yes, it sets the tone. It's a preamble to the event. Yeah? Even without reading through the contents of the card, I think just by its presence, someone is able to know a number of things.
Yeah.
Wow, this is a nice invite. You know what?
Yeah.
That requires my attention. One, either even if I'm not able to attend, that I should actually respond and say thank you, but I may not be able to attend, even without opening it. If I get an invite and I know that I probably may not be able to attend because I'm probably away for the next 6 months, yeah. Because of what I've received and how I've received it, I should be able to have that feeling of I need to respond to this.
So it creates the first impression.
Creates a first impression. Even if I am attending, I should be able to say, wow, okay, this must mean I have to present in a certain way.
Yeah.
So it does a lot to the psyche of the person that's getting invited. And as you say, it sets a tone, or rather, it sets the tone for the event. I mean, as weddings, or rather, event stationers, we've numerous times gotten that comment of, wow, if this was the card that these people sent out, I would like to have seen how the wedding was.
Yes.
That is a standard comment that we get, especially when we get clients coming into the office and we show them part of our previous work.
Yeah.
They usually want to know, okay, so how was this event if this was a card?
Yes.
So already you see at that level, it tells you that it's important. It sets the tone for how everything else flows.
Yeah, it sets the tone. I mean, I have encountered instances where I have received an invitation and immediately, I start getting excited about this event. I start anticipating it. I even start, imagining what I'll wear.
Very true.
What I'll wear. And I start even, I think, I don't know if you mentioned, but the card comes with some sort of, you kind of get to know sort of the theme or the color scheme of the day. So you sort of want to align. And there's some invitations that I've received that have made me just feel like, you know what, I have to go to this event.
Yeah. No, it's very true. I think there's an event we did, and we had people calling our office and asking if they could get a copy of the card
Really?
because we have to attend this event. And we were really, I mean, that was, we're taken aback. We're like, okay, we really can't do that because once we produce cards, we issue them out for them to be distributed as per a certain order.
Yeah.
It's not our place to issue. Yeah. But there was such a clamoring to attend that, and people knew that they could not duplicate. Even the level of card, I mean, the card that you do.
Yeah.
Sometimes people will get and say, this one we cannot redo. You just have to get the people who did it to just do others. Yeah. And so that was interesting. Yeah. And that's a place that Stationery holds in terms of event preparation and event aesthetics.
So ideally, people should put more focus on the importance of, the wedding stationery, because that's the first contact people will get of your wedding and what is to come. So if you really want to make a good impression, you really have to put a lot of thought into what you're sending out.
Yeah, and you see the whole thing of putting the focus there, or rather not devaluing what invites do or their purpose or their role, is that you need to think about the event from the end to the beginning. Yeah, you want to achieve a certain thing at the end. And so how you start, how you follow through, and how you end are all important elements. Yeah. So if you don't put focus on how you start, then you find that your end goal will actually be affected. Yeah.
And so, Alex, when I think about wedding stationery, perhaps maybe I would only be thinking about paper, like the physical invitations that we get. So my question would be, what are the different kinds of or mediums of wedding stationery?
So for handmade treasures, what we've done is that we've dared to think outside the box. We've dared to not conform to the usual. And so when you talk about mediums, it's actually quite interesting because it's something that we adopted a while back. And this is where we're using different items to give different fields to personalize our clients' work. Yeah. So there is your traditional paper, and which has its own spread of, variety. Then you have things like materials like acrylic.
Okay.
Again, coming in different colors. Mostly what we've seen really engaging, or rather being used commonly, is your white, your clear, and black. Yeah.
The acrylics come in white, clear, and black.
But not just those colors. Those are mainly the colors that tend to be used, but they come in many different colors. I mean, there's the blue, the red, the orange. I mean, you can get numerous colors. Even gold is there. You can get gold acrylic, yeah, that's also one of the common ones as well. The gold was actually when we are doing accessories. That's one of the colors that is commonly used. So there's also wood.
Wood, okay.
Yes, wood and composite material. Maybe I could just share a quick slide with you.
Yes.
Just to show you a bit of what I'm talking about. I don't know whether you're able to see.
Yes, just maybe make your screen full size, full screen at the top there. Or you can start the slideshow.
It's actually a PDF. Let me just try and see how.
Oh, this is so beautiful.
Thank you. I don't know that it's blown up a bit.
It is in the process. I don't know if it's on my end or your end, but there's a bit of it's a bit. It's okay, just take your time.
There?
Yeah. Yes, much better.
Okay, great. So this is a compilation of some of our invites that we have. As you can see, I don't know if you can see my cursor.
Yes, I can see your cursor.
So this is an acrylic card with inserts on the side. Yeah. You can see there's like, for example, this one. We actually use, there's a paper we call leather paper.
Leather paper?
So it's in between paper and fabric.
Wow.
Yeah.
I
So
don't think I've heard of that paper before.
Yeah, so there's actually now you have this here and this here being leather paper. This one actually have incorporated a wooden block within them, and then we've covered them with jute.
Jute is a kind of paper?
Jute is fabric. It's
a kind of fabric, okay.
It's maybe just to put it in plain, simple language, it's gunia. Yeah, but then there are different grades and different qualities, so they can actually be used to design stationery.
Okay.
I don't know whether you can see there's a block here on this card.
Yeah.
Showing a monogram. This has actually been laser cut out of MDF.
I don't know. Is there a way that you can zoom in?
Not quite. I have. Yeah, because I mean it's been created into a PDF, so I can't zoom in.
But I think we get the idea.
Yeah. So I mean, again, we can use so many different materials as exclusively that material or in combination. You can see here, this is a clear acrylic. This was actually for a corporate. Yes, this is clear acrylic. It was for a corporate. They were doing a launch for their company. They're opening a new wing, and we designed this for them. And you can see inside is a lacy type of fabric that has been used to just complement the look.
Okay.
If you come to signages, again, you can see the mirror signages. We've used, softboard signages on softboard. This is also acrylic. This is acrylic that has been, it's actually clear acrylic. What we've done is that we painted the back just to give a contrast. Yeah, to give a contrast that the words can be legible. So again, the ways in which we can curate are immense. Yeah, you can see now this here is laser cut, a laser cut wooden program. It can also be a card. Yeah. So we take MDF and we do a design and we're able to laser cut it, and then now co-opt it into a card. So this is paper used in combination with MDF wood. Yeah.
Interesting. So it can be anything. It can be wood, acrylics. It can be paper. It can be what was the other thing? This other material.
You can use the paper. You can use even some levels of metallic, or rather what you call composite material, but laced with metal. Yeah. So I mean, the options are infinite. Yeah.
So I'm just thinking, when it comes to wedding stationery, there are usually standard things that should be there or are normally there. Say who is getting married, when, where, and the basic information. And so what can we do then to set us apart from everyone else? If I want to personalize my wedding stationery, for example, just a wedding invitation, what can I do to set myself apart from the rest? Even notwithstanding, like I still want to convey the important information, but I also want to stand out and to let my personality shine through. What can I do, or what can I include?
Interesting question. I'm trying to think about it because I mean it's in itself it's a bit complex and a bit broad, because personalization really is about self.
Yeah.
Is about who you are, capturing your essence. Yeah. And so for me, when I think about what you've asked, is the best thing that anyone can do to be able to personalize or set yourself apart from the usual, because there are certain things that have to be there. I mean, we have to know who is getting married. We have to know, typically in the African setting, then, a mention of the parents tends to be more one of those typical things that appear there. Where you're getting married, the timings, yeah, a bit of, what we're doing and where, like, is it a garden ceremony followed by a reception? Is it a church ceremony then followed by the reception? So those details need to be there, and then also the date, obviously. But now the way you do it, I think the personalization comes in the way you're able to do those things. Yeah, the designs that you adopt, the printing styles that you have. Yeah, or that, with the help of your vendor, you curate thereof. Those are the things that now help you personalize and really set yourself apart. Yeah. So for me, what I'd advise is create time for curation or ideation of your stationery. Yeah. That's the only way you can be able to set aside. There's this notion that when someone says, "Yeah, my cards are at the stationers or they're at the printers," yeah, as is commonly, mentioned. I think most people think that we are churning paper through a printer and coming out as a
True.
complete card on the other side. Yeah, but that cannot be further from the truth. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
actually a whole process in terms of the designing and production of these cards, because even production is layered. It's not just cutting paper in the office and putting it in envelopes. No, yeah. Remember, everything is bespoke. Even the sizes of the envelopes, yeah, we have to get them right, because then everything has to fit in. Yeah. So I think creating time is the most important thing that you can do to be able to get a unique product for yourself and for your event.
Yeah, I think we'll be talking more about that later when we'll be talking about the different stationery timelines.
Yes.
But I'm just thinking, if I want to say, this is when it comes to personalization. If I want to be, a bit different and say, I want my guests to get a glimpse into who I am and who my partner is and a bit about us, can I say, for example, in the invitation somewhere, write something about our relationship history or our love story, or perhaps even just our favorite television series, or something like our favorite night sports or something of the sort. Is it something that I can do if I want to?
Definitely, yes. I mean, there's no limitation to what can be included. We've actually seen a lot of that, but more so towards the digital front. Yeah. When it comes to physical invites, what we've had is maybe a love quote or a message to to the invitees or to whoever is receiving the card. A heartfelt message from the hosts. So. That one we've been able to do, especially on the physical end. But when you look at the digital space of things, that's why the love stories, how we met, pictures of us, those things are now being incorporated more on that end. Yes.
Is it because of space, or why is that? What's the reason behind that, though? Like because the paper is small, or what?
Not really in terms of the paper being small. It's actually bulk. Because then you look, when you look at that, you'll actually have to do a number of sections of the invite. So the bulk is what people tend to stay away from. not so much that the paper is small, because you can, I mean, you can make it as big or as small as desired, but then now packing the information is what now becomes a bit tricky, because then the invite becomes bulky. Yeah, but tenets of that have been incorporated into the physical, just not as much detail.
Okay.
Yes.
I see. And so now I just want us to discuss more about, stationery, wedding stationery trends. There are those that have come about because of the pandemic, and there are those that have come around because of the new year, 2021. And maybe you can just tell us a bit more about what you're seeing are the new wedding trends, and where we should be leaning into if we are looking into having our weddings this year or even next year.
So two things, I mean, arising from the from pandemic, and also what we're seeing.
Alex?
Yes? Sorry?
Hello?
Hello, can you hear me?
Hello?
Eunice, I'm here. Eunice, can you hear me now?
Hello?
Yes, Eunice?
Yes, sorry, I lost you there a bit.
Sorry. Yeah, so just saying, a number of things have come up, again, as you said, rightly said, due to the pandemic, and also, the shift of trends, 2021 going forward.
Yeah.
I'd say one, because of the pandemic, we've seen an increase in digital invitations. And when I say digital invitations, this is your spread where you have e-cards. So we'll do almost like a post, or a one-pager where you put in the information, and we're able to circulate this either on WhatsApp or, through, email, whatever means one may want. We have had a little bit complex, so you had people coming in, and we are doing motion graphics. So your event is layered into a couple of pages, and you have the information basically adopting motion. Yeah, so it's not just a post that appears at you. So it's just coming in slowly as you absorb the information. We have animations we've also done. So, creating a whole animation around the invite. It could be animation of the couple. So again, better describing who they are, what they do, personalizing the invite so that someone feels that actually these guys have talked to me. And also now what we call, web invites or web bites, where we actually create a whole website around the event, and we're able to send this to the various invitees for them to log in and see, what the event is all about, who is inviting them, their story, what's expected of them, and all that.
I think.
Sorry?
Sorry for cutting you short. Just go ahead.
No. I just about to say now, in terms of the physical invites going to, from 2021 going onwards, we've seen an increase in the desire to have them a little bit more elaborate than they have been, again, because of the smaller numbers. So people are willing to do, a little bit more, to, again, go ahead and personalize them even more and make them different from the norm. Yeah, we've seen an increase in the desire to have good quality paper. Yeah, as I said earlier, paper has its own category.
Yeah.
And basically, previously, what we've experienced is people using, in terms of even the weight. I don't think locally that we have any paper that is more than 300 GSM. Yeah, or grams per square meter. That's what GSM means. Yeah. But increasingly now, you've seen people wanting to use heavier grammage paper because, again, it gives them possibilities, or opens up possibilities for them to do, nicer, or rather better quality of prints. Yeah, things like letterpress, where you find we actually have a mold that punches through the paper, and instead of a print, it's actually a debossing of the paper, that can either be laced with ink or foiled but again gives a very classy look around the stationery. Yeah, so you've seen people exploring more into that. Again, also wanting paper, because sometimes you come to and you say, I want a rose gold paper, or I want a midnight navy. And so typically what has been done is that we take white paper and we do a full print of the color. Yeah. But it doesn't quite give you the same effect as paper that comes with its own Pantone.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we are seeing a shift, people wanting better quality paper, and paper that instead of printing color on it, paper that comes with that actual color that they want. Yeah. So that pushed us to do a little bit, to look at cards a little bit different and to do different things for the market.
So this pandemic has sort of made you even push your boundaries when it comes to creativity, because people are looking for more elaborate designs and more elaborate papers. And I like the animations. I think if someone I have not come across it personally as an invite, but I think if someone was to send me a video animation as an invite, that would be so amazing.
I mean, it's quite interesting because, I mean, even with the animations, you have to do voiceovers. So it's really off your traditional invite, yeah? Because it's a production.
Oh, it's a whole production. Like you have to
do a whole production. Because then you have to match the animation to the voice.
Oh, yeah? Lord, I wish there was an example you'd see.
You have a voiceover. I mean, I can probably get one for you. Maybe not in this city, but it's something that is there. It's something that has been done previously before. Again, because of now the invitees are involved heavily, or I say the couple, because you're talking about weddings. The couple is involved heavily. These are also things that you need to get their permissions, because when you're doing these things, some of the things that you sign with them are NDAs, and because of the level of personalization they have, then I may not be able to share with you right now. But again, these are things that have been done. Even looking at your commercials, your TV commercials just looking at something like JTL Fiber, they've always used animations to do all their ads. So it's something similar to that.
So I also think with animations, you are in a position to tell that personalization that I was talking about earlier, tell that story. So I think it's amazing.
And what's even amazing in terms of that kind of a concept, you look at, if it's a couple that wants to tell the story of how they met, they can actually recreate it. In the animation. And so you find that the person being invited actually develops a connection to the couple even way before the event.
Way before the event. And this goes back to the initial conversation we were having about, setting the tone and making a very good first impression. And so when you do something like this that is very personalized, by the time I come to your wedding, I already feel like I know you, or I know something more about your love story and even what to expect. So really cool stuff that are coming up in the stationery world. But I also want to know, with the adoption of technology, and we're seeing more and more people adopting technology, more and more people opting to do e-cards and whatnot. So is this the way to go completely? Is there still need for physical invites, the paper and whatnot? How do you balance the two, like the technology part and the physical part?
I guess it's something that, what COVID has done is that things that would have probably taken a bit more time, things that would have evolved, gradually, what it's done is that it has pushed that up and set it on an exponential journey. And so what we've done is that we've had to adopt both. So we are flexible with clients who would come and say, we want to go digital, and we want to see what we can get in terms of the creativity around that and our final product. Yeah, and so we're able to create something around that. Same with the physical part of things. Yeah, we're still curating. I think, yes, the digital space will continue, and we'll find more and more people going in it, but there's something that paper will never lose. Yeah? And the perfect example for this is when you look at your classic, or rather vintage cars. Yeah. If you are to compare, there's some vintage vehicles that would even be more expensive today than your highly modernized vehicles. Yeah, because it retains what the classic vehicles do, or that the vintage vehicles do. They retain a certain classic touch, because some things were not machine made, some things were actually handcrafted, and so there's that detail. Even like right now, I mean, most of the wood effect or the wood processing methods are highly computerized. Like we have the CNC machines. Nothing beats a traditionally made. Let me give you, for example, a lamudo. If I give you both, one that has been made with high accuracy by a machine and one that has been handmade,
I think I'll go for the handmade, because I just, there's just something.
There's an authenticity that cannot be removed from that. Yeah. And I think that's what will happen with paper. There's a certain authenticity and genuinity that paper retains that cannot be wished away, or that cannot be adopted, with tech. Yeah. And irrespective of both standing with their merit, I don't think one can do away with the other. Yeah.
I was just thinking, if I was to receive a physical letter right now, I would lose my mind. I don't know the last time I received like a real physical letter someone has sat down to write and whatnot. And I'm just thinking, I don't know, I think it's the same. If I received an e-invite right now, I'll say, oh yeah, it looks pretty. But then if I received a card, it's totally different.
No, it is totally different. And I like that point that you mentioned about a handwritten letter. It's something that even as we style and as we curate events, we're finding that it's something that people are trying to go back to. Yeah. So as part of the experience that's built around the wedding, so the couple will write a letter to each other.
Yeah.
And when you come to look at the videos post, the emotions that are elicited by the fact of reading a handwritten letter, I mean, it just makes for perfect photography. I mean, just so real, and there's an intentionality that is able to be eluded, by both the writer and the recipient. Yeah, there's an intentionality. Someone actually penned down their thoughts. Yeah. Same thing as journaling. Journaling will never go out of fashion. Yeah, where you sit down and you write down your thoughts, you write down events that happened in your day, you write your experiences. It's timeless.
Yeah, true. And speaking of the pandemic, I know the pandemic has brought about many things, and one of them is smaller weddings, micro weddings. We're seeing fewer people in weddings, and it has affected so many different aspects of the wedding industry. And I'm just wondering how the smaller numbers has affected wedding stationery.
Okay, so when you look at obviously, I mean, because we're doing fewer cards, there's definitely an effect on that end, especially when you look at bottom lines and everything. But I'd say it has affected, but then it hasn't affected, because what we've done is that we've not lost, in a sense, we've not lost this group of clientele. We've just adopted them in a different scope. Yeah. So we're still doing work for them, just not how we used to do it traditionally.
Yeah.
And then you find for those who want to do, physical, then they're opting to do more elegant, more elaborate. So in a sense, there's a balance. Yeah. Where we used to do fully physical, now we're just splitting that to digital and
Yeah.
physical, and the physical aspect of things.
So the numbers are lower for the physical, but they're more elaborate and more detailed, and they're more luxurious.
Yeah.
Let me just ask you a question that has just come into mind. Initially, when you do physical cards, and perhaps it was an invite-only event, you'd be able to say, I don't want to say monitor, but let me just use the word monitor. So you're printing 10 cards for 10 people who are coming. But then there's that issue of online, it's an e-card, you're sharing online with other people. Has there been a way that, even as this wedding is a private event, how then can we stop this card from this being circulated far and wide? Is there a way that has been put in place to minimize this?
So yes, there are ways that can be done, because you can actually serialize, but that it's not also an easy process, because see, the thing with e-cards is that you're able to generate one generic design,
yes,
that you're able to share widely.
Yeah.
But when you talk about serializing, that means if I have a card for Eunice Moy, it's specific to Eunice Moy. So if you have 50 guests, I have to create 50 e-cards that are specific to the person invited. Yeah. Such that once you serialize and you come and we scan, the serial, that it'll actually give your name. So if it gives someone else's name, then you're denied entry.
That's an interesting option.
Yeah.
That's a very interesting option, yes.
Yeah, so we've done that, but you find in terms of, because you see people will shift to maybe the digital to, in a sense, save on some cost.
Yeah.
When you look at invite only, which is basically the way things are going now, I mean, people want to be invited to an event. They don't want to come to an event just because it's an event, actually because of the times and the risk of, I mean, and I say this I just want to say this loosely. 2 people meeting is a risk.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, to transmit whatever it is. Yeah. So it's not even a matter of so much the gathering, but I don't want to come to a place where I'll expose myself unnecessarily, or I feel, or me as a host will feel I'm exposing other people, unnecessarily. So it's if you're inviting 50, then it's a specific 50. And if one person then doesn't come or sends their regrets, then we have 49. Yeah? So in that sense, you have to make sure that everyone invited has an invite, whether physical or digital. And the thing with digital is that now the issue of serializing comes in place.
Yeah.
You create codes that once you scan them, they're able to generate or rather produce your names as, they appear maybe on your ID, because then you'll need verification that this is actually the person that they say they are. Yeah.
Is it also another option for you to address it? For example, if it is me, you'd say in the digital card, you'd address it to me, and then to another person and to another person. Is it possible?
Yes, it is possible. But the thing is that now the aspect of the card being generic then disappears. Because now it's personalized to the person who's going to receive it. Yeah, so we'll address it there. And as a further proof, you can serialize and put a code. Yeah. Such that the code is it's an encrypted code, because you see, I mean, I can send you a card and someone with skills to be able to manipulate it will just change their name. So it'll have your name, but you have an encrypted code. So that code will, once scanned, will give the name of the person that has been invited. And the good thing with that is that it offers you a huge leeway. Yeah, because it can give you your name, can give you your ID number, because this is information that you'll have already given prior. Yeah? Put it into the code and encrypt it. So as you're coming in, as it's being scanned, it's actually showing that, and we're able to verify from our guest lists.
I mean, that is amazing, because I was just thinking, e-cards, how in the world are you going to, how are you going to control an invite-only event? Because this thing, WhatsApp groups, WhatsApp whatever, emails and whatnot, how are you going? So if you can serialize it, that's amazing.
Yeah, no, it can be done. It requires time. Again, it's not something that someone will, and I guess, as you said, we'll discuss it when it comes to timelines.
Yeah.
You can't show up a week two and want that. It might not be as easily possible.
Okay. Oh, I'm seeing time is moving. So let me just move on to the next question. I want to know, I came across a very interesting, someone asked me something quite interesting when I was preparing for this webinar. So, nowadays there's usually people who are very conscious, would save the planet, would save the trees. So they're very conscious about paper, about waste. Sometimes you'll go to events and you have printed, say, the programs in church, and once their work is done, sometimes you'll see them thrown here and there. And it's just so, sometimes it can be very wasteful. People cannot be, sometimes people can be very careless when it comes to paper, in terms of throwing it around, and also even the type of paper that they use. So for those couples, that I'm sure you have come across couples who are very conscious about such things. How do you handle that? How do you handle these such clients?
Okay. Again, it's not something that has happened a lot in the past. It's a trend that's coming in now, and we are having, again, as you say, more people are conscious about the planet. I mean, and we're already feeling the effects of, us as, a human race damaging the planet. And so these are realities that we have to face. And what we've put in place, or things that we've done, as I told you, I don't know that I mentioned, but one of the things, or one of the aspects of even paper, and as I said, is people are exploring, various options of paper, is that you have recyclable paper, and paper that has been made from recycled materials. Yeah, believe it or not, you can have paper done from washed out elephant dung.
Really?
Yes. Now, it doesn't smell because the process of then creating, because it's not just elephant dung, it's mixed up with other material, but that is the primary ingredient. And you see, with doing that, you're achieving a number of things. One, it's paper that will be easily degradable.
Yes.
That means it won't, in terms of the effects on the planet, it won't have greater effects on the planet. Two, it's been made of, biodegradable material, so it will be absorbed. It will be absorbed by the earth. Yeah, and then the other thing is that when you have such paper, it's paper that, like now for the elephant dung, if you look at now the elephant reserves or the conservancies, it serves as extra income for them, because then we need to collect, or that the dung is collected. So you're achieving a number of things that save the planet. Yeah, even as you do that. So printing your cards or doing your stationery with such kind of paper is actually eco-friendly. Yeah. Then we have paper that is made from cotton. Yeah. And this is talking about your old socks, old shirts. Yeah. And these things are churned into a machine, and they are processed into producing paper. Yeah. And we have even companies that actually just sell recyclable paper.
Mm.
So that's one way.
So
Yeah.
I'm saying there's options, and they're very locally available on this.
Locally, no. These are some of paper that you have to bring in. Yeah. Yeah. So even for us, what we've done is over and above. I mean, together with other papers, these are papers that we've had to bring in. Yeah. And it's actually not even in the COVID era. It's been even before. Yeah. We used to get, a number of requests. Not so many, but a few. So we'd bring in maybe a small quantity of that, yeah, that we'll be able to use. I remember some time back we had done cards for the Hemingway's collection. They were not the Watamu Hotel, Hemingway's Watamu. And we used, part of the invites was actually recyclable paper. Yeah. They were also conscious about, if you understand the story about Hemingways, they're very conscious about the ocean, especially when people throw plastics into the sea. Yeah. So recycling is a big thing for them. Yeah? And as part of their ROI, we incorporated that form of paper.
And I think more and more people should actually incorporate such papers, because really just the impact of other things on the environment and on our planet is becoming a very big issue. And if we can look into that, I mean, I'm surprised it's not locally available, that you have to bring it in. I'm really surprised.
Yeah, we don't have it in the numbers that you'd want, because again, if you look at, it's a whole supply and demand.
Yeah.
It will depend on how much then that stock is moving, because then you don't want to be left with dead stock or stock that's not moving as much. But I'm sure as we are getting more and more into this, it's paper that is easily available locally. Yeah? Because once the supply is there, then the rest is just almost automatic. Yeah? And the other way to be able to become eco-friendly is to use things that can be reusable. Like now, let me give you an example of table numbers. Instead of using paper, yeah, you can actually do acrylic.
Okay.
That can be reusable. It's not used for that time only, but it can be reused many times over, and that helps reduce the waste.
Okay.
Yeah. So opting for things, even like say mirror signages, instead of using softboard.
Yeah.
By using
so
a mirror
just
signage,
remove the design and print
yeah,
again.
Exactly. Yeah. So we find that it's saving us from the waste that would have otherwise been if we went with cardboard or softboard. Yeah.
And I think also another option is also doing the e-invites.
Yes, and the digital space, that's actually the other way. When you look at now communication modes, yeah. But in terms of branding, then now use things that can be reusable. Yeah. When you're branding now the event. Yeah? But when you're sending out communication materials, then use more of the recyclable, or go online or digital in terms of the invites and all that.
Okay. So Alex, I just want us to list down the say major wedding stationery, and I'll start with the wedding invites. I think that's a major one.
Yes, that's a major one.
Program?
Yeah, program is major. You find nowadays we need to find, or rather because again of the reduced number, you want a seating plan or a seating chart, because it's important for people to know where they're seated. The branding, obviously, because we are in that era of custom. Yeah? I think simply put, there's no better, how do I put this? There's no better way to acknowledge you than to call you by your name. So there's no better way to own an event than to brand it with your essence.
Yes, true.
So there's also the branding materials that we're seeing now, actually taking that post of an essential wedding stationery. Excuse me. The other thing would be favors or tags, because to attend an event is not an easy, or rather, it's not a given. To attend an event means someone will actually sacrifice their time.
Yes, so much. Their time, money, so many. They'll buy new clothes. They'll make their hair. They'll sacrifice a lot to come to your wedding. So, as you're saying, favors is also a very big part of the wedding stationery.
Yeah, it is, because I mean, people want to thank their guests for coming.
Yeah. So, I don't know what has happened. Is it telepathy?
It's psychic. When you cough or when you sneeze, the next person is likely to.
Oh Lord. So when it comes to all this different stationery, I think it's very important for us to talk about the timelines. When someone is planning their wedding, when should they start planning their stationery? At what point would someone be thinking about the wedding invites, and all the other major wedding stationery? Okay,
important fact, or rather important segment. Timing is key. Yeah. One of the laws of power is timing. It says timing is everything.
Yes.
Yeah? So I like to say the same. Timing is everything. One, you need to ensure that you come in early.
So let's use an example of my wedding is in which month is this? This is June. Let's say it's in December.
If it's in December, you honestly want to come in September. Why September? Is because 1 month you need to leave it for collection and distribution.
Yeah.
1 month.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because as you collect, you probably need to do a few things. So maybe if you're having them handwritten, if you're doing calligraphy on them, if we are printing the names on, then that's not so much of a problem. But you have to think about the pre-distribution activities, which will probably leave you with about 3 weeks to distribute. 3 weeks clean of your wedding. Yeah? 3 weeks to distribute. And then the distribution process as well. Yeah? So you want to cut out at least a month of collection and distribution. Then you need 3 months, of ideation, agreements and concepts.
3 months of that?
3 months. No, I'm saying the 3 months encompasses the ideation, agreements, and payments thereof, and production. Yeah. Now, the ideation process sometimes seems very obvious, but it's not. Because once you've agreed on a design or a preferred design, remember we have to do the artwork.
Yeah.
And then when you do the artwork and you put in all the details, this is now sent to you or sent to the client, who will review it with whoever else is they're making the decision with, and then they approve. But it's not simple as, okay, I've seen it, I like it, I have approved. There's a lot of back and forth in that process. Change this, remove this. This name is not in right. Wait, we'll give you, and you have a lapse of time. Until the point where you say, now we are okay with this design, we are okay with the details in it, we like how it looks. Then there's a point of where we do a physical sample of whatever it is.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about the process of a physical invite. Yeah? So we do the sample, and you actually get to feel, you actually get to see, this is how it will look. And sometimes changes might also come in that stage.
Yeah.
Yeah. Until now, we've said now we are okay. We've seen the artwork, we like it. We've seen the sample, we like it. We have approved it for mass production. Yeah?
So I'm seeing 3 months for wedding invite.
Yes.
How about the rest of the ones that would not need to be collected before for distribution?
So you see, like now, if you're looking at an e-card, you typically want at least to have to be, because you want to be safe also. You don't want to do things close to your event, because that tends to lead to a lot of anxieties and panic. Yeah. So I'd say minimum for anything, whichever concept you go with, minimum, you cannot show up less than 4 weeks to your event. Especially in the sense where like for e-cards, you don't need to collect. I just need to send that to you. But remember, the curation process has a lot of back and forths. So even if you only need like 2 days to be able to send out the invite, we need to get it right. So that way, by the time you're sending it out, it's perfect. Yeah. So the initial bit is what carries the weight of the time. Yeah. So once you get that right, the rest will be easy. Okay. The rest will really be easy on after that.
Okay.
If it's a website, again, with that whole development of the site, being able now to show you, and then the back and forth in terms of the details that should go in it, or the tweaks of color, shades, the different aspects of the website. So again, it's more to do with the creation of the whole setup that needs to be gotten right, and hence needs time to do.
Yes. So to be on the safe side, start early and at least 3 months before.
Yes, start early and 3 months before. And always, something I like to say to all clients, think about having a buffer. Especially when it comes to physical invites. Just because you have 100 guests, don't do 100 cards. Because maybe as you're writing out, writing the names, you will write it badly.
Yeah, you will.
So that's a card that you cannot issue, because you cannot start erasing, it'll give a negative feel. So always do a little bit extra. Or sometimes you might think that you had 100, but along the way, another 20 people show up on your list. Yeah. Become apparent, they need to be invited. Yeah. And so the cost of doing the 20 vis-a-vis 120 becomes totally different. Yeah.
Okay. And so when even we're talking about these tips about some things that you want the couples to do, what are the mistakes that you have come across that couples do in reference to wedding stationery, and how can they avoid these mistakes?
I think two that we've already touched on. One is showing up when it's too close to the event.
Yeah.
That's a major mistake, and we see it almost all the time.
So then you begin rushing and rushing.
Yes, you begin rushing, and you see it becomes an expensive affair for everyone, because for us, we're trying to rush through the work. And because of that rushing, chances of making errors here and there very possible.
Are high. And also, if you do an error, if you make an error, it reflects badly on your brand.
Exactly. Yeah, because sometimes you might be cutting paper, but because you're hurrying through it, some paper is cut out wrong.
Yeah.
So you lose a whole batch of paper. Was cut. I mean, you're not gonna get a perfect A5 because it was cut at an angle. So that whole batch, it could be maybe a batch of 100 sheets. That batch is spoiled. So you need another batch, and so it becomes expensive for both us, the vendors, and the clients, because also to the client, I mean, we have to charge you an express fee, because it means I need more hands on it. I need, because I have a short time. If it's a cutting process, I probably need to employ 2 or 3 machines to cut at the same time, so that work can progress faster. Yeah. I need a bigger team to assemble them. Yeah. So that's why the express fee comes in, because then you need to employ more than is required to be able to charge it. Yeah. Or sometimes I may need to rework the schedule and slot you in, other work that's already happening. So that becomes a challenge.
So come early.
Yes, come early. Another big mistake that happens is devaluing the place of invites or stationery. Feeling it's not really important, at the end of the day, people will throw away. I tell you for free, people throw away flimsy cards. That's a given.
Cool.
People throw away flimsy cards, but a nice card, a nicely done up card, people keep.
Yes.
Why do I say this? We've had clients come to our office with invites, because handmade treasures is not new in the market. Handmade treasures has been now for the last 20 years. We've had it for the last 4. And someone would come with a card that, in fact, the other day, had a walk-in come into the office, an older gentleman, his other son was getting married, and he was a client of Handmade Treasures almost 10 years ago.
Wow.
In fact, he was asking me, did you move here recently? I said, no. We've been here a while.
Yeah.
And he quoted a location that, because Handmade Treasures at some point was in Langata, had its offices in Langata.
Yeah.
And that was around 15 years ago. Yeah. And says, you know what? Yeah, I did my first son's wedding with you guys there. Yeah. I actually even have the cards. And I'd send my son here they wanted to do programs. Yeah, because one of them was away, I think in the UK, and did cards from there, but they wanted to do programs with us. Yeah? So we started that conversation. But other than that, we've had clients who've come with actual cards and say, I want something like this. So a good card will always be kept, not just by the people you give, but even by the couple themselves. They'll want maybe 1 or 2 cards for their keepsake.
Yeah.
Just to keep as, a memoir of this event. So do not devalue what invites and good invites do to an event or do for an event.
Yeah. I think even as we wind up, Alex, I'd just like to know what influences, we have to talk about money at some point and budgets and whatnot. What influences the price of wedding stationery?
Okay. I think the number one factor that influences everything in an event is the numbers.
Yeah.
That's the number one. How many cards we're doing. And for us, we look at it from a point of economies of scale. So the more copies you do, again, within certain thresholds, the card is cheaper. Yeah. Because if I'm going to do, the cost for me to do 100 cards and the cost for me to do, let's say, 120 or 130 cards, it's almost the same. Yeah. Or let me say this just so to get a good a good example.
Okay.
It will cost me the same, or rather about the same, in terms of effort, not cash. It will cost the same effort and the same amount of material to do 50 cards as it would to do 100.
Okay.
And so, if you do 50, you'll end up seeing or feeling like your costs are high, but it's because I'm having to spread the same amount of effort, materials on a smaller number. So your unit cost become high. But if it was to spread that against 100, then it reduces your unit significantly. Yes.
Okay.
So that's how it works. So the more you do within certain thresholds, the cheaper the cost becomes. Yeah. The bottom line could be high. If I did 1 million cards for a shilling, it will still cost you 1 million. So the bottom line might be high, but in terms of your unit cost, that may be low.
Okay.
The other thing is a concept. What concept are we going with? Are we doing a laser design? Are we adding accents or maybe laser cut logo or emblem for you? Are we using fabric for your? Because sometimes we've done cards that we've covered in velvet. Yeah. So do we have such elements like that? Yeah. Are we doing a full foil for your card? Are we doing a letterpress for your card? That means either we use high grammage paper or we have to use layered paper. Yeah. So here is where you layer, a number of sheets together and you're able to get that good punch onto the paper. So again, the concept that you're going with influences the cost because different aspects come into play. Yeah. And thereof also the different types of materials that are used. Those are things that determine the cost. Any card.
It's funny how you talk about, I think they say different industries or different sectors have their own not really, what's the word? It's not grammar. There's that phrase,
their own,
lingo or something of the sort.
True.
Yeah,
yes.
Because I'm just imagining a person who's wants to get married and immediately they are immersed into this wedding industry. They go to tents. There are like a million types of tents. They go, I don't know where. They go to stationery, you hear things about...
There's so much vocabulary.
Vocabulary. You sort of have to sort of take your class through a very quick training, so to speak, so that they are aware of, letterpress. Have you said letterpress? Yes,
letterpress. The thing is, when clients come to our office, we actually push for clients to actually come to, have a meeting in the office.
Yeah.
Why this is important is because we're able to show them the different types. So as I'm telling you, I'm showing you, you're able to appreciate what I'm saying, and so it sticks with you. Yeah. As opposed to having a conversation maybe on phone or virtually, and I'm telling you things that you can't really appreciate, you can't touch, you can't feel. Yeah. So for our meetings, you actually ask clients to come in, because it will be for their benefit, even to see some of the samples of paper that we have that they can choose from.
Yeah.
And those who have time, because there are guys who come, a year out. We have time to bring in paper that probably is not locally available, or we do not have it in our stocks.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I think we do a lot of education along the way in the wedding industry, and sometimes it may be easy to forget that the people that our clients are not really, like on a day-to-day basis, they don't come across tents, they don't come across wedding stationery, so to speak. So it's upon us to sort of take them through some sort of
education.
So even as someone is making a decision, they know exactly what they are choosing and what it entails. And so my final question as we wind up, and as I even invite you to start preparing, say, your final remarks, I'm just thinking about a couple who are shopping for a wedding stationery vendor. What is it that you would tell them? What would they look out for when they are shopping for a wedding stationery vendor?
Okay. Again, another interesting question. Something that we have been thinking about for a while now. But I'd say because of, and every client is different.
Yeah.
Because of what they want to achieve, and what their priorities are, the number one thing that will never lead them wrong is to look out for a value-on-value conversation.
On-value conversation?
Yeah, value-on-value conversation. Value-on-value, because you find that sometimes people come and they come with these elaborate ideas, but then, someone wants to maybe pay 50 bob per card.
Yeah.
It won't happen. And so the thing to look out for is a value on value. Okay, so what is this that is being suggested? What have I experienced in terms of the paper, the designs, the ideation process? What's the value I'm getting vis-a-vis the value I'm giving?
Okay.
And once you get a point of alignment, then that's the best. That's you will definitely be happy. Definitely be happy with what you get. Yeah.
I think that's a very good point, because I'm just thinking, because sometimes people come and they're very price oriented. So someone will come and tell you, I have this amount of money and I want you to do this. But then when you see what they are asking for versus what they're willing to pay, it does not really correlate. So I think what you're saying is quite important.
Yeah, it's actually well captured in the quote that says the grass is greener where you water it. Yeah, and so again, because I mean, for different clients, there's different priorities, and so when you're able to align your priorities to the value conversation, then you find that you'll be happy. You'll get what you're looking for. Yeah. But when you find that you're looking for something else, and you're not, the value that you're giving does not align, and it could be opposite. It could be giving too much value for very little. So that's also bad. So you need to get a value on value and get both things aligning. With that, with whatever vendor you choose, you'll be happy.
So it boils down to value.
Value, yeah. Value is a conversation that we need to be having. I think in this day and age, it's a value. What am I getting and what am I giving? And are those two things in line?
I think this reason is very particular to stationery. I have not had this this reason before when looking for a vendor. I think it's very particular to wedding stationery. I think it's a very good advice for those who are looking for wedding stationery vendors. Yes.
And you'll actually find, Eunice, even when you encompass the whole industry, or rather the whole event planning spectrum or space, value on value is a conversation that most people need to ask themselves, because as you said, sometimes people are very price oriented and we tend to buy price. And sometimes when you buy price, you find that you don't get what you envisioned. That thing of what I ordered for and what I got.
Yes, true.
The background conversation that many people don't tell is, did a value on value conversation happen? Because maybe I saw this nice thing, but I wanted to get it, cheaply. You ended up getting a cheap version of it. And then you complain.
Yes.
But also say, don't pay for the value to get the thing that you wanted and get something substandard. That's also not correct. So if you look across the board, the value on value conversation is one that needs to be had all through. I have 100K for my wedding. I have 50 guests. What can I get? You'll get 100K worth. Simple.
Okay. Yes. So I just want to wind up here and to just summarize the conversation as I ask you to prepare your final remarks, and also maybe Catherine can join us for her final remarks if Catherine, you're available. But today we have gone through everything wedding stationery, and I can say I have picked up a thing or two, and especially, I just want to reiterate the point that we discussed about the importance of wedding stationery. And for me, what stood out was, you see, a wedding stationery is the first encounter that your guests come. come in touch with your wedding or hear about it. So you want to make a good impression. You want to set the tone. You want to, build excitement and anticipation for your big day. So really, what you're trying to say is you need to pay attention to your wedding stationery.
Yeah.
And wedding stationery is not only paper. There are many mediums. It can be acrylics, it can be wood, it can be glass. Was it glass or what was the other thing?
Yeah,
yes.
It can be glass, mirrors.
Yes, it can be mirrors, it can be so many other things. And you also can personalize your wedding invitation cards and your whatnot. You're not only, it's not set on paper that you're supposed to do what everyone else does. As long as you communicate your message, you can do whatever it is that you want. And also we have talked about the different trends that have come about because of, say, the pandemic and because of the new year. With each new year, different trends usually come about, especially in the wedding industry. So this year we are seeing more elaborate wedding stationery because of the numbers. We are seeing, you said we are seeing also the advent of the uptake of digital digital platforms and whatnot. And so even in the digital platforms, we are seeing things like animations and motions and whatnot. So it's really exciting also what we are seeing in terms of trends. And we have also said that even in as much as we are adopting technology, we can never really take away the uniqueness of physical paper. And I think that is very important because I think we discussed this in length, and we said that if we were to receive a physical letter right now, it would speak more to our heart. And I think for me, it will just tell me that this person took the time to think through and to think about me and to just write it down. And I think that's not going, digital will not give you that. So physical paper is not really going away. We have also spoken at length in terms of the timelines when you're supposed to start, when you're supposed to start looking for a wedding vendor, a wedding stationery vendor. We have looked at the mistakes that couples make, and that is, one of them is going late. Another one is not giving wedding stationery the importance that it deserves. And yes. And I just hope from this conversation that whoever listens, they will pay more attention to wedding stationery, because really it is the first impression that you get to make. And it does more in terms of setting the direction, setting the tone, the excitement, this personalization. And really, I think the bottom line of this discussion is we need to pay more attention to wedding stationery. And I like the fact that you have said that you have advised couples who are looking for wedding stationeries to look or to focus more on value. And so with this, I think I'd like to invite Catherine to say something before we close. And Alex, I think you'll close. We'll also, Catherine, are you available? Okay. Alex, I think you should go first, and then we'll see about Catherine as we close. Okay. Yes, your final remarks.
I think it's been a pleasure just engaging in conversations, stationery. Just want to tell all the couples out there that, I mean, we're here. We are not we're not unable to serve you in whatever respects, whether you're adopting the digital platforms, whether you're doing physical invites, whether you're conscious about the earth. I think we've gone through the different aspects or other different challenges that may be there. As handmade treasures, we'll be ready to serve you in whatever respects. We'll be able to guide you through the process, give you the information that you need to make whatever decisions that you have to make, and to ensure that whatever you get as a product from us fits into what you want to achieve at the end of the day with the event that you're, planning, or what you're curating. Basically, we'll be able to meet your ROI for your event and do it with so much sophistication and grace.
So, Alex, I just want to thank you once again for coming on board and for sharing all the insights. I have picked so many things from this conversation. And even as I go forth with planning and whatnot and with advising my clients, I think I'm in a better position because of this conversation. And so I just want to sincerely thank you for giving your time and your knowledge. And I want to say thank you to Handmaid's Treasure and to Bloomingdale's for what you're doing. And for our audience, I'd like to invite you once again for Wedding Wednesdays, next week, Wednesday, 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. We'll be having a very interesting conversation with leading planners in this city. You do not want to miss that session next week. So thank you once again, and God bless you.
I know you think so that I'm not there. Oh my goodness, how could I forget? Alex, when we launched many years ago, Handmade Treasures did our invitations. And let me tell you,
Yes.
it was amazing because you guys came up with this idea, obviously. You came up with this idea that we put a small sparkling wine. It was JP Chenet, and now they have varieties.
Yes.
And we did this nice little bag. We still even have samples in our office. And then we did this beautiful scroll in a box. Let me tell you. That invite arrived, I am told, at least in 3 companies, CEOs, because we were sponsored by we were sponsored by Nivea at the time.
Yes.
But I'm telling you, CEOs received that invite. They were coming down to their marketing team. Do you know these people? Who are they? And why are we not working with them?
Exactly. And that's a feeling we always strive to elicit, that people will feel a difference or feel like, oh my God, yes, this is the person to work with, because of the creativity around it and the personalization to ensure that you as an end user achieve what you wanted to achieve.
Oh, we achieved. Let me tell you, I compare our launch to the Richard Branson Virgin Atlantic launch. Like, if you were not at our event, where were you exactly? Honestly,
exactly.
it was attended by business leaders from whatever. Just because of that card, people are like, "Who are these people?
Yes.
We must go and see what they send their marketing teams."
Exactly.
Yes. So you guys really kudos, and I can see you've maintained the spirit in the company.
Thank you so much.
Leading and doing amazing things. Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you so much, Alex, and good night.
Good night and good